go. You guys know what time it is. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A little bit of a late start this morning, but let's talk about something. I ran across a comment on a forum, and I want to use it for educational purposes. So let's take a look at this real quick. They thought they had a fool, clearly. $650 for an intake? Absolute rape. Look at the numbers. $600 for the intake manifold gasket replacement. $650 for the manifold assembly. $110 for the gaskets. Antifreeze is $18.32, which that wasn't figured into my cost earlier when I did this, or when I show you here in a second. So these numbers are right on par with what it should cost. So this is what it calls for the intake manifold on, like, a, let's just pick an 08 Crown Vic, 4.5 hours. That's the labor time for a 2008 Crown Vic, 4.5 hours. Let's figure out what that is money-wise. That's $675 in labor at $150 an hour, which is the going rate here in Chicago. OE part number, and this is the price. It could actually go up depending on who you're buying it from, and right now we have a UAW strike, so prices are subject to change. You don't have to sell it at this price. That's just the price that they show in the computer. So if you did a 30% markup, it's $122.77. So the part where the markup is $532.02, and that's not including tax. With tax, it comes out to $586.55. With the labor, comes out to $1,261.55. Now you would factor on like a certain percent of miscellaneous, or a certain dollar amount of miscellaneous, such as rags getting destroyed or something, or brake clean being used, something like that. So let's just say we had another $40 in coolant. That $12.61 would be $13, and then we had another so much in shop charges, which, call it $40. That ends up coming out to like $13.40, $13.50, somewhere in there. So the numbers aren't far off. And what these guys did is they went with an OE intake manifold and got an OE set of gaskets separate. Now you can go to Napa and some of these other places and Rock Auto and order intake manifolds with gaskets and stuff already together, but a lot of shops don't want to do that. They want the Ford intake manifold, the Ford gasket set. So these are where things could get, they could go south. And depending on that intake manifold that I showed you guys here for the $400 with the 30% part markup, business expenses, costs, whatever, that's standard, that gasket set would have made it go up even more, which would have been $14.50 had that gasket set not come with that intake manifold, which with Ford, knowing them, you got to buy it separate anyhow. So understand that your value and your worth is your value and your worth. There are a lot of people out here looking for a deal, and there are a lot of people out here looking for cheap, and they're looking for the parts house down the street that's gonna sell it for $150, $200 less, and they are looking for you to take care of them at all costs if you do the job. So they're looking for a deal, and they're looking for warranty at the same time, and then they're going to be a problem child by complaining about it and coming back whenever things break or they don't quite fit right or something like that, and it's going to be your problem. So when you get to a point in your life where you know your value and you know what your worth is, stick to it. Don't change. It's comments like this and customers like that that you just plain flat out don't need. It is a reasonable price for that job. They are using a quality intake manifold, assuming, and gasket set, and yeah, you just got to pass on customers like that. So where he thinks he got off by talking bad about a shop that was doing something like this to him in this post for his Crown Vic getting the intake manifold, that's a pretty standard charge for that job. Why? Because I specialize in it. I order and do a lot of work for the Panther platform vehicles, and you guys know that. You see me doing stuff here all the time on the channel to those vehicles. That's a pretty standard charge for an intake manifold. And anybody that thinks different, they're just trying to cheap out on it, and they're looking for garbage product, garbage work. with a warranty, which that doesn't work. You find somebody that knows their value, they use quality parts, they know what it's worth. You're not going to get away so easy with them, talking down to them and expecting nothing for or something for nothing, and a warranty on top of it. Not going to happen. So that's a pretty good charge for that job, especially with one that you're going to get a warranty on. And the dude that has a problem with it obviously is not worth keeping as a customer. Be aware of your surroundings, be around what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with, and then you adjust accordingly off of that. You don't need customers like that. That's not something that anybody should want in their shop. And then go online and talk bad about shops because you're getting charged a fair price. That's my thoughts on it.